Alright, so I didn't think I was gonna have to really make a video about this. Mostly because I figured that just because, everybody already got their opinions about this killer when they released, and how we're already almost a month from release of this killer, I just didn't really think it was necessary. But over the past couple weeks since this killer's been out, I think I've had some of the least fun I've had playing Dead by Daylight just going against this killer. And it got so bad to the point where I actually had to take a few days, like almost a week break from Dead by Daylight, just because I just found this killer not engaging and not fun and not enjoyable at all. And of course, I am talking about the killer, the
Ghoul. A ghost. What about
Now, I know what some of you guys are probably thinking. Oh, this is just another one of Nick's rants of how he thinks that there's a killer that he doesn't like, so he's not going to be a huge fan of it, and he's just going to complain about it for the next, 15 minutes. Well, yes. Yes, that's exactly what this is. But, I just really need to express just how much of a curveball I've had with this killer since the announcement. Because, okay, to start off, when this killer was first announced to be coming to this game, I was already a little disappointed, mostly for the fact that it was not a huge fan of Tokyo Ghoul to begin with. I mean, I did watch the anime when I was younger, but I just simply did not really find interest in it over the years. And, seeing this announcement and seeing all the leaks for it, I'm like, oh, great, this thing that I don't care about that's a license is coming to the game. And it was also really concerning because I was like, the FNAF chapter is coming next, which I'm going to make a video about, I swear. But the FNAF chapter is coming right after this killer. So I'm like, Behavior, you got to just give us at least something that will let us enjoy the game until the FNAF chapter releases. Because once the FNAF chapter releases, I don't care what people say, it's going to be the best chapter in the game, hands down. But yeah, it was already a little bit of a negative start just from seeing the announcement that it's Tokyo Ghoul, because I wasn't really a huge fan of it to begin with. But I was willing to look past it. I was like, I know what Tokyo Ghoul is. It might be interesting. Who knows? And playing the PTB for it was a little bit of a rocky start. I'm not going to lie. The game kept disconnecting me, and I had to uninstall and reinstall the whole PTB. But actually playing the killer, I had some decently high hopes. And even on release, I had some decently high hopes. So let me just give you a quick summary of how this killer's power works, just from me playing them. So the killer's power, Kagune Leap, gives you 2 leaps, and pretty much you can leap around the map. Like, you have a set amount of range. I think the range is like 12 meters, but pretty much you can grab onto something and pull yourself towards it and basically just leap around the map. And you also have a slide that you can do every time you land that just gives you a little bit more distance. Pretty much kind of like Wesker dashes in a way, or like Blight rushes in a way, except you only get 2 of them. But the thing is, if you do a leap and then grab a survivor with the second leap instead of grabbing another object, you will actually injure them, and you will also activate the enraged mode. Now, what the enraged mode does is it gives the survivor you injured the Kagune mark, which pretty much turns them deep wounded, and it starts a timer for how long you can have your enraged mode for. And the enraged mode pretty much gives you 3 jumps, and it's kind of really all it does. It gives you 3 jumps, and it lets you just have more distance. It's not really much else to it. I mean, but to be fair as well, the killer also can use their Kagune leaps to vault over windows, vault over pallets, and if they grab a survivor when they're vaulting stuff, they actually vault the window faster. Which, fine. That's fine. Wesker can do that. Fucking Legion can do that. It's always nice having a killer that can vault windows faster base kit. Not that big of a deal. But I mean, other than that stuff, that's kind of the gist of it. When the timer runs out on it, the only way people can start the timer to get the Kagune mark, is to get the Kagune mark off of them, which in order to do that, they pretty much just have to mend themselves, because yeah, when you injure them, they get put into deep wound. So the moment they come out of deep wound, the timer starts for the enraged mode to go away. So it is kind of like a, you know, once you see the timer go down, you're like, oh shit, I gotta find somebody else to mark. Honestly, not that bad, because it does kind of incentivize use your power and chase to injure them first instead of just going for the standard at ones. You know, it's not bad. It's really not that bad. Like, the concept is there. But the biggest problem that I have with this killer is that they don't have to try. Like, this killer has such a low skill ceiling, in my opinion, to where you don't really have to do anything crazy to even just get free hits. Even just get free hits is easier than, like, it's easier than Wesker, easier than Blight, easier than any other kind of killer that has the ability to just, like, run around the map really quickly. And it's like, to be fair as well, like, I did have to kind of wait to make this video because they did actually nerf some things about this killer. But yeah, at the time of me making this, they did also nerf the killer a little bit. And one of the things they changed was the auto aim, because there was auto aim for whenever you would grab a wall or grab a survivor, and it was to kind of compensate since you're kind of moving around so quickly. But it was super fucking bad in the release version, to the point where literally you could look directly up to grab something and it would still lock onto a survivor that's next to you. Like, it was really bad. And as of now, it has gotten better, and they have nerfed some things like the range and stuff like that, which is fine. That's fine. But, like, the biggest issue I have with this killer that I feel like not a lot of people are really making clear is the fact that this killer has, like, a 2-second cooldown, or a less than 2-second cooldown if you cancel your... Because that's the thing, too. You can cancel your power after using the first leap, which is fine, because let's say you have, like, one leap, but you don't want to use the second one, so you just cancel it, let it recharge. But the issue is that the cooldown is so quick that you can't fucking do anything. Like, unless you're already at a tile, or you're already at a strong pallet that the killer can't do much on, you can't do anything if this killer leaps at you and then cancels their power. And I know what some people are going to be saying in the comments, oh, but they literally just nerfed the killer, so if the killer breaks a pallet, you know, they get put into their cooldown. Well, the thing is that the cooldown for whenever the killer, because the thing is that whenever the killer breaks the pallet, they instantly go on cooldown. No matter how many tokens you have, they get put on cooldown, and that's so that way people can't do the thing that Blight can do, where the moment you break a pallet, you just leap towards them. Fine, balance, that's fine. But the problem with it is that the cooldown is only as long as if you only used one token, meaning that it's still really fast, meaning that you can still basically do the same thing, it just takes an extra second or so. So it's like, there's really not much you can do, and, like, unless there's a close enough tile to you that you can run to after throwing a pallet, if the killer leaps towards you while you're trying to go to different loops and cancels their power on top of you, you're fucked. Like, you can't win against that. And I'm tired, and, like, it's the fact that, like, people act like it's just like, oh, well, just don't get down in the open. But it's like, the most of the maps in this game are nothing but open maps. There is so few maps, unless you're counting like Macmillan or Autohaven. You get something like Coldwind against a Ghoul, and there's little to nothing you can do, since all the fucking loops are pretty much on the outskirts of the maps. And it's like, it's just so stupid that this killer can just jump over to somebody, cancel power, and then have basically no slowdown and very little cooldown, and be able to just M1 somebody. Like, I don't see how behavior will nerf everything about this killer but the power cooldown. Because even if you look at someone like Legion, who can kind of do a similar thing, where you can, like, just power cancel on top of somebody in Feral Frenzy. Legion has a 2.5 second cooldown, because they did just buff it. It was originally 3 seconds, and then they buffed it to 2.5. But 2.5 is still really, really good for a survivor, because it still allows you to be out of the lunge range, so that way they can't just lunge at you after canceling their power. It still puts you at that right distance where you're out of lunge range, but you still have to find something in that short amount of time before you're gonna die. With this killer, all they have to do is power cancel on top of you, and it doesn't matter, you're just fucking dead. The only hope you have is that there is another pallet right next to you after throwing the first one that you're at, and just hoping that they don't leap right on top of you. And it's so stupid to me that this is just still in the game. Like even if they nerfed it to be 2.5 like Legion, I think you would immediately be 10 times more fair to go against, because it at least allows the survivor to still gain distance. Because the thing is too, is that the killer can just grab a survivor with their power, but that does slow them down and causes a longer cooldown. So it's like, why do you have this, which is perfectly fine, but then you have the ability to power cancel, which is faster than that, and if you're in the open, you just can't do anything about it. Like, there is so few things that you can do to mind game this killer when you're in the open. And on top of that, not only can they cancel their power after using the first jump, they can literally cancel their power mid-jump. Like, you can be halfway in the air and you can cancel your power and it will still work the exact same way. Like, I don't understand it. That is like by far the biggest issue I've had with this killer since release, is why are they able to jump at you from fucking across the map pretty much and then still be able to power cancel on top of you? Like, you look at someone like Nurse, and it's like every time she uses a blink, her cooldown gets longer and longer. Why couldn't they just done something like that with the Ghoul? Or why couldn't they just have made the cooldown longer, like 2.5, like Legion, or something like that? Or why do you just allow people to cancel their power while they're in the middle of a jump? I understand allowing people to cancel a power after they've already done the leap, but why are you able to do it mid-jump? Because that literally just incentivizes the jump to somebody and then instantly power cancel. And because of how far you can slide, you can pretty much get in front of somebody if they're not going in if their pathing isn't that great. You can literally leap in front of somebody and cancel your power, and they can't fucking do anything. They literally just can't do anything. And on top of that, with the whole thing I was talking about earlier, that the killer can grab somebody and then vault over a window faster, I think that's fine. It's still a little fast to the point where they can kind of catch up to you and just lunge over to you, but I still think it's fair. Like, if you're at like a pretty strong pallet, like on the swamp or something, you know, you can still make it and be fine. But the problem is this killer has the same thing that Wesker does, where if you try to do pretty much, if the killer vaults the pallet and you try to go behind them to kind of mind game them or try to vault over the pallet, you instantly go down if you're injured. Which is just like, why? Why are you benefiting this killer so much? They don't need it. The killer does not need all these benefits. It made sense on Wesker because he can't grab the survivor, and plus his vault speed is slower than the Ghouls. So it's like, like, I understand having it for someone like Wesker, and like, you know, you look at fucking Legion just vaults over the pallet and has to turn around because of how far they go forward. So it's like, why do you give the Ghoul these buffs? Like, it just, like, why do you have so many benefits on this killer? I don't understand it. And it's like, sometimes it doesn't even work. Sometimes you play the killer, you vault a pallet, and they try to mind game you, and it just doesn't work. They just don't get injured. It just doesn't make sense to me. And, you know, like, yeah, the one thing I didn't think I would have an issue with is something like the Kagure leap, because the leap itself I thought initially, and I still kind of think is okay, but the amount of times that I've seen people literally be able to skip over things that they're not supposed to because of this leap, or, you know, for example, I was playing with a friend recently, and they literally managed to jump over the hole in the Bad Ham school with the power to injure me. Like, what? like that makes no sense. No other killer in this game can do that. So why can't they do that? Like, I understand it's not intentional, okay? I understand a lot of these, like, stuff like that, it's not intentional. But it's not just about the fact whether it's intentional or not. It's the fact that it's in the game to begin with, and if somebody's good enough, they're going to use it consistently. It doesn't matter. Like, if you're good enough at the game to where you can perform that consistently, you can use it to your advantage and just make it. It just feels unfair. Like, this killer just straight up just feels unfair at times and straight up annoying at the worst. Like I said, like, I had to straight up just take like a week's break from Dead by Daylight just because I was just not having fun. Every single match I played was against this killer, and it was against the same generic leap over to somebody, injure them, and then leap to them again, and then power cancel. Like, it wasn't fun. And then, like, when the killer first came out, everybody was saying, oh, just use Made for This, you know, because they give you free deep wound. Made for This doesn't matter when the killer can fucking leap at you and mock speed to injure you. Like there's no real ways to counter this killer if you're not at a pallet loop, which I think is just completely not fair, because even killers like Wesker or Blight, if you're in the open, sure, it's a lot harder to counter them or deal with them, but it's still possible. Like, it's still doable. With this killer, you just can't do anything in certain situations. In certain situations, you literally just have to accept that you're dead. And like, there is so few counters that I've seen some people give reasonable suggestions for counterplay. I've seen stuff like that, and that's fine. And like, you know, some of the counterplay that I've seen and used, where it's like, if the killer is trying to vault over a pallet, just don't throw the pallet. Just wait for them to stop using their thing, and then throw the pallet. Like, that's like stuff like counters and stuff like that. That's fine. But those small little counters and the small little nerfs that behavior did aren't, I feel like they're just not enough for the overall scale of just the killer that people are dealing with in this game. And I don't know. I really just don't think it's fun. I don't think it's fun. I think it's honestly just, yeah, it's just a significantly stronger, like, this killer immediately got, at least in my mind, got put up into the same tiers as like Wesker, Blight, Nurse, because it's like they can do so much without needing to put in like any effort. Like, because even Nurse, like, yeah, Nurse can literally phase through walls, but you still have to be good enough to not only phase through the walls, but basically pinpoint where somebody is to get an injury. With this killer, you literally just leap around the map, and because the auto aim is still on the killer, there's a good chance that you'll still just auto aimed onto somebody. And even if you don't injure somebody, because that's another thing too, is that sometimes if you grab a survivor to injure them, but you get caught on an object, it'll cancel the grab, but it'll still give you the enraged mode and start the timer on the survivor. It just won't injure them, which is just like, what the fuck? Like, what? That's because then it literally just means that you just get 3 jumps for free, and by the time that the cooldown's over, you're just gonna injure that person and reset the timer anyways. Like, I don't understand how some of these things on this killer are in the game, and it really just frustrates me that I feel like there's not a lot, like because people were complaining about this in the very beginning, but I feel like at this point it's like nobody's saying anything about it, and I'm just like I just don't believe that it's right. I really just don't believe that, like, this killer should not be able to power cancel on top of people. They should not have like the instant auto aim. They shouldn't be able to injure people from vaulting a pallet, because a lot of the times too, it'll be bugged to where, like, if you're slightly too close to their like injury range, you'll still go down even if you're not intentionally trying to like mind game them at a pallet. And it's just like, this killer to me, just like, they still have so many issues, but it's not like an issue like the Houndmaster or something where they just need to fix it. They just need to nerf this killer. Like, they really just gotta nerf this killer. Like, they just, like I said, that all they really have to do is just nerf the power canceling by like 0.5 seconds. And then maybe like change the way the vaulting the pallet works to like injure somebody, or vaulting a window to injure somebody. All they have to do is change like those 2 things. And I feel like this killer would just be a lot more balanced to go against, because like there was still the people like when the killer first came out saying like, oh, the killer should be able to down in their power. No, the fuck they shouldn't. They should not be able to down in their power, because this killer is already overpowered as they are. And I feel like not a lot of people are seeing how overpowered this killer is, just because they're like, oh, it's fucking Tokyo Ghoul, they can leap across the map. Like yeah, it's a cool power in concept. Don't get me wrong. It's a cool power in concept, but with how easily it is, how easily you can get wins and stuff by putting in like minimal efforts, like it doesn't feel very engaging it doesn't feel very fun or engaging on the survivor perspective. And at least in my opinion, from the killer perspective, I just feel like I shouldn't be getting half of the hits that I am getting, or I shouldn't be able to just like that thing, half of the things I do where I do power cancel on somebody, it just shouldn't be a thing. And it's like, you know, some people are gonna say, well, if you hate it so much, why do you do it? Because that's the way to, that's how they have designed it. They literally designed this killer in a way so that way you can do it. So it's like, why wouldn't you do it? But because of that, this killer is just so much more annoying. And it's like, I really just don't find this killer very engaging or very fun. It's very annoying. And it's like the whole chapter had a bunch of issues when it came out. Like, the Steam achievements weren't updated. There was an issue where you got all the cosmetics for free, and like, you know, just it being bugged and like all the bugs happening. Like, there was just a lot of issues with this killer releasing on top of the killer already being significantly more powerful. And I just really wasn't having fun with it. I really wasn't. And at the time of me recording this, we are getting a new survivor within like the next week or so, which is fine, but it's not a license, it's an original. And then after that, all we're doing at that point is just waiting for FNAF to come out. That's all we're doing. We're just waiting for FNAF to come out. And yeah, it's I don't know, like the fact that I have to still deal with this on Dead by Daylight for the next few months, like it's gonna be manageable, but like I don't know, I really just don't find this killer super fun. I'm still willing to play against them and stuff like that, but yeah, no, I just don't find this killer super interesting. And it just feels like this killer can get free wins in certain situations just because you can't fucking do anything in most situations. You literally just have to like sit at every pallet loop for as long as humanly possible, because the moment you step foot into the open and the killer leaps at you, you're fucked. Like you can't win. You just can't win. But yeah, I kind of just want to get this little rant out because yeah, I was not having nearly as much fun with DBD as I normally do. And it was all thanks to this killer, literally. Like, it was literally just all thanks to this killer. And I really do hope that behavior does nerf them coming in the next, like, patch or so, or in the next, like, or at least when the FNAF chapter comes out. Because the only reason I'm willing to deal with this chapter right now is knowing that we're getting FNAF in, like, June-ish. So it's like, yeah, that's the only reason I'm still sticking around. But, like, it's still just very unfun. And yeah, no, like I straight up had to take a break, and even coming back, I still kind of just don't like this killer. But yeah, I'm just gonna kind of leave it there. I just simply wanted to get this little rant out because I didn't feel like this killer. I was not having fun with this killer. But yeah, you can check out all my other DBD videos, all my other live streams. I have been going live a lot more recently on my YouTube channel. You can check all that stuff out. And yeah, so yeah, you want to check out all my other videos, you want to like, comment, and subscribe, cool. But yeah, this killer's not very great. So yeah, so all right, I'll see you guys in the next one.